Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss about ultrafiltration and use of ultrafiltration during cardiopulmonary bypass. So, why we use ultrafiltration? Because during cardiopulmonary bypass, often develop fluid overload, hemodilutions, electrolyte imbalance, increased capillary permeability, shifting of fluid to extravascular space. So use of ultrafiltration, how to manage? During ultrafiltration, it manages blood volume, hemoglobin, protein, certain electrolytes, and reduce the mediator initiated, that is systemic inflammatory responses, SIRS. What is ultrafiltration? So ultrafiltration is the movement of water across membrane as a result of hydrostatic pressure, gradient of transmembrane pressure. In ultrafiltration, generally we don't use dialysate because as the water diffuse, it creates a solute concentration gradient across the membrane. This solute then diffuse across the membrane, equalize the concentration in a process of solute removal termed as a convection. The fluid removed is called ultrafiltrate or plasma filtrate water. Effective means of blood conservation, increase the volume of red blood cells, platelets and coagulation factors. So this is the importance of ultrafiltration. Now we talk about the dialysis. What is the difference between ultrafiltration and dialysis? The dialysis is a process in which blood is separated from crystalloid solution or dialysate by semi-permeable membranes. A solute concentration gradient exists between blood and dialyzed, causing the solute transfer by diffusion from higher to lower concentration. In this figure, we can see that the diffusion is a movement of solute in a solution from an area of higher concentrated to an area to the lower concentration. That we can see the figure A, B and C. So what is the history of ultrafiltration or dialysis? First it was reported and discovered about the Hirudin. Hirudin is developed in 1913. In 1855, Adolf Fick used colloid cellulose to develop a semi-permeable membranes. In 1854, the Thomas Graham, a Scottish chemist, present a paper initiated osmotic force which described the process of separating substance using a semi-permeable membranes that generally used for a hemofilter or hemoconcentrator. So after the Second World War, William Kopf built an artificial kidney employing the generated cellulose membrane cellophane termed as a Kopf membrane kidney. This is artificial kidney. First it was designed by William Kopf. So this is a mechanism of ultrafiltration. During ultrafiltration, blood passes through bundles of hollow fibers. There are many small membranes bundles are present inside the hard seal hollow fibers, hard seals, polycarbonate material, and from through blood is passed. The hollow fibers membrane area is 180 to 200 microns, and the pore size of the fibers is around 5 to 10 nanomicrons. This is a mechanism in ultrafiltration device. As blood passes through his hollow fibers of ultrafiltration, also called as a hemoconcentration, a positive pressure is created. This pressure difference between the blood side and the atmosphere on the ultrafiltrate side dry water across the membrane. Solute concentration gradient is generated. So for ultrafiltration, transmembrane pressure is more important. So this is the equation that you can see that from the positive pressure to the negative pressure is developed, and total volume what we get, that is ultrafiltered solution. Again, this is a figure that tell us that from the lower concentrated volume we pass through the membrane, and through small particles will, in second figure it's some small concentrated particles will come into second figure, and in third figure, that is many other particles will also pass through the membrane. So this is a process of ultrafiltration. So membrane permeability is related to pore size, membrane material, membrane thickness, described by ultrafiltration coefficient. Ultrafiltration coefficient, that is rate of water removal of transmembrane pressure. As we previously see in our figure that transmembrane pressure is more important for the filtration. So typical rate of ultrafiltration required is 2 to 50 ml per hour per mmHg. Increase transmembrane pressure, increase the rate of ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration also remove the plasma water and diffusible solute in equal concentration. The overall concentration of diffusible solutes is not affected. Depending on the membrane materials and the pore size, solutes more than 65,000 deltas are not removed. It means the plasma, proteins and some particles of heparin will not pass through the filtration. That's, as a perfusionist, we should remember this, that all the heparin will not pass through the filter. This is showing coefficient. 0 indicate there is no chance, there is a ability of solution filter depend on the molecular weight of the solute compartment with the pore size, proportion of the solute, that is membrane bound, and the surface change of solute. The showing coefficient is the ratio of ultrafiltrate solute concentration of plasma solute concentration. It ranges from 0 to 1. 1 indicate that the ultrafiltration solute concentration and plasma solute concentrations are equal and the solute passes freely across the membrane. 0 indicate none of the solute passes through the membrane. All the small molecular weight solutes that are not protein bound are easily removed by ultrafilters and have a showing coefficient of 1. Generally, the solute more than 50,000 deltans do not pass through the membrane. It means albumin is more than 65,000 deltans, so it will not pass through the ultrafiltrate. So what is the indications? The patient undergoing cardiopulmonary bypass have a significant hemodilutions. CPB circuit priming through cardioplegia line, surgical irrigation from cardiotomy sections, patients having renal failures or patient is in CCF. Ultrafiltrations remove this excess fluid. However, the amount of fluid removed is limited by the minimal level allowed the venous reservoir. Even we try to reduce our circuit priming volume, we try to reduce our cardioplegia circuit, but there is a still hemodilution is there. So we have to think about the ultrafiltration technique. As all the systemic inflammatory response increase the capillary permeability, causing a dilution decline in hemoglobin and serum protein concentration. The capillary leak cause fluid shifted to the interstitial space, causing the tissue edema and decrease end organ function. Ultrafiltration can concentrate blood without removal of plasma protein, thus causing hemoconcentration, reduction in tissue edema and removal of inflammatory response. So this is a typical circuit. Generally, for our understanding that we are taking blood from our roller pump, and from the roller pump we give positive pressure to the our hemoconcentration or dialyzer and from this dialysate we give back to the reservoir. This is a typical conventional ultrafiltration circuit. Ultrafiltration help by decreasing the total body water, decrease post-op blood loss, decrease uses of blood product, improve left ventricular systolic function, improve atrial O2 gradients, increase pulmonary capillance, decrease duration of post-op ventilation, decrease incidence of pleural effusion after superior cardiopulmonary connection like Fontan cases. And disadvantage of ultrafiltration is concentration without removal of protein segments of blood, thus maintain albumin and clotting factor. Albumin concentration increase the colloid oncotic pressure and reduce edema by drawing blood out of extra vascular space. In patient with renal impairment, it is concomitant use with dialysis can optimize electrolytes and blood urea nitrogen. The pulmonary complication is increased faster recovery of pulmonary function, mainly because of leukocyte stability and decrease degranules of polymorphonuclears neutrophils in pulmonary capillaries. The factor that influence ultrafiltration, that is type of ultrafiltration, type of modified ultrafiltration, duration of ultrafiltration, volume of ultrafiltrated obtained, endpoint chosen for intermediate ultrafiltration, type of filter that what we are using, use of pre-ultrafiltration, concomitant and anti-inflammatory therapies like steroids that we use or not, patient characteristic, that is for young patient presence of pulmonary artery hypertensions, CPP variable like prime volume, types of prime, complexity of surgery used for deep circulatory hypotonic circulatory arrest. Risks with ultrafiltration: plasma level of heparin may increase. The heterogeneous molecular size of heparin varies the amount of heparin retained in the hemoconcentrated blood. Aortic cannula may enter air. Hemodynamic instability, high flow rate through the ultrafilter decrease the cerebral blood flow velocity and cerebral mixed venous O2 saturation. MUF increase the CPB time. And this is a contraindication for ultrafiltration: biocompatibility, leukopenia, complement activation, RBC trauma and release of plasma-free hemoglobin, retention of heparin in hemoconcentrated blood, cost analysis. Technical applications: ultrafiltration is set in parallel to the extracorporeal circuit as a passive shunt from a point to higher pressure to lower pressure. The inflow to the ultrafiltration originated from a connection of the high pressure arterial line, and the outflow returned to a lower pressure connection located on venous line or venous reservoir. This is a figure that we can see that we are taking from the arterial to venous ultrafiltration technique, from membrane to hemofilter and hemofilter to the reservoir. Without pump also we can use ultrafiltration technique, but for that we require minimum of 150 to 250 mmHg of pressures to generate a transmembrane pressure. These are the again some technique that we can use for ultrafiltration. Tubing from the effluent side of the ultrafilter is attached to the collection container, and given the ultrafiltration used for CPB have a relatively high ultrafiltrate rate, sufficient rate of fluid removal are achieved by establishing a hydrostatic pressure by altering the height between ultrafiltrate and the canister. The hydrostatic gradients can vary between 60 to 90 mmHg, resulting in effective hydrostatic pressure of approximately 45 to 65 mmHg pressure. The transpressure membrane pressure may be augmented by applying the vacuum source to effluent side of the ultrafiltration. The process of ultrafiltration may potentially lead to hypovolemia with the increased osmolality in the intravascular volume, causing interstitial fluid to slowly shifted in the vascular space. patients support on CPB can tolerate high rate of ultrafiltration without becoming a hemodynamically unstable because the cardiac output is controlled by bypass pump and does not depend on the intravascular volume. So these are the type of ultrafiltration: conventional ultrafiltration, modified ultrafiltration, dilution of ultrafiltration, zero balance ultrafiltration, and prime ultrafiltration. Friends, thank you very much for attending this ultrafiltration technique. So if we use conventional ultrafiltration, that means during cardiopulmonary bypass, when you use ultrafiltration techniques, that is known as conventional ultrafiltration. Modified ultrafiltration that we use after going off bypass, we remove the excess fluid of our total body volume, and we try to change the whole circuit to remove the excess volume. That is known as a modified ultrafiltration. Dilutional ultrafiltration, it is again to reduce the dilution of your circuit and your patients. Zero balance ultrafiltration technique is when we doing ultrafiltration, same time we try to maintain the electrolytes as well as the total body patient total body volumes. So that time we have to add electrolyte balance solution for the ultrafiltration technique. And prime ultrafiltration, that is because going on before going on cardiopulmonary bypass, we have in pediatric patient we prime blood and other products. So we have try to maintain the electrolytes, and we try to reduce our hemodilution of circuit. So this is a prime ultrafiltration technique. Thank you very much. Friends, I hope you understand the importance of ultrafiltration and during cardiopulmonary bypass. For you, my question is, how ultrafiltration is important for pediatric neonate patient? Question number 1. And what are the disadvantages of ultrafiltration for pediatric neonate patient? Please send me your answer to my email address. My email address is atulsolanki2001@yahoo.co.in. Thank you.